Hi, I'm Judy De La Rosa, and I'd like to share with you today how I created the Abundance Team Essential Oil card deck and guidebook. You've probably seen it. It looks like this, and I want to share with you where it came from. So in 2017, I started using the abundance technique to help people who wanted to grow their young living business, but they were stuck. And it was based on a really brief, like 5-minute discussion I had with a diamond in Young Living in Europe named Corinne Dellis. I was at a Young Living event and we just briefly talked, and she explained to me that she used kinesiology or muscle testing, and she would ask a person what it was they actually needed help with, where they were stuck in building their business, even though they were doing everything they thought they should be doing. And then she used the muscle testing also to find out which oils would help shift those hidden patterns in them. Maybe it was mental, emotional, whatever, beliefs that weren't right. And she was having great success in helping them achieve their goals or what they needed. So instead of looking at the physical uses of oils, she was looking at the emotional and mental uses of the oils. And this was really profound. So when I came back home, I started doing my own version of that, which was called the abundance technique. So now I'd like to share with you where things progressed from there. So I'm going to show you some slides, okay? So just give me a second here to set this up for you so you can see it really well. Okay, so when Gary Young passed away in 2018, that was just a year after I had talked with Corinne and she had explained to me about what she was doing with essential oils. And we were all dealing with such a big transition at that time in our lives, because for 25 years, really Gary Young and Young Living Essential Oils had been at the center of my life. And I needed new forward focus to take me forward without Gary Young in my life. So I was inspired to write the emotional, mental, and spiritual descriptions for every oil in Young Living, because we really didn't have a good source for that. And so I felt that this would be something that would be really important to do. Who knows, maybe Gary was whispering it in my ear for all I know. Anyway, I knew the abundance technique would help a lot of people. So I made a plan that to move forward from this big transition in my life, I would go back to where Gary Young got his beginning with essential oils in Provence, France. And from there, I attended the lavender harvest. And this is where Gary Young learned how to first distill oils from Jean-Noël Landel and Henry View in 1986. And I thought if Gary got his roots there, it'd be a good place for me to find my roots. So I had a wonderful time with Nicholas Landel, who you can see in the picture on the left. He's the son of Jean-Noël. So he spent his life growing up around Gary Young. And his father and Gary created one of the first Young Living farms here in the heart of the perfume industry in southern France. So you may not know that originally perfumes were just simply made of essential oils. That's why Mary Magdalene is known as the patron saint of perfume in the Catholic Church. So from the Young Living Lavender Farm in Sémillon-la-Rotonde, you can see that in the middle of this map, I traveled to Saint Baume, which is near Marseille in southern France. It's called Plan des Alpes, and Saint Baume is a monastery there and a sacred pilgrimage site. So this place is really important to me, but it was important for many people because since early Christian times, St. Baume was a very special pilgrimage site for Christians all over Europe. Even kings would come there and had very powerful experiences when they spent time there in St. Baume. So St. Baume is actually two things. One, it's a cave on the side of the mountain, which now has a monastery. And it's also at the very top, there's a little chapel at the very top. So the pilgrimage is to walk in prayer from the bottom of the mountain up to the top. So in 1998, when I first started Young Living, I had read about Mary Magdalene and the time she spent here at St. Baum in an aromatherapy magazine. And when I first visited St. Baum in 1998, I had a very powerful experience there. I had hiked to the top of the mountain just as the sun was beginning to set. So everybody had started to go down the mountain because it was getting dark. And I was so overwhelmed with the energy of this place that I just felt I had to lay on the ground and connect my heart to this land. It was powerful because I felt like my soul was one with this place and with Mary Magdalene. And I had never experienced anything like that in my life up until that point. And actually, I haven't experienced anything since then as powerful as that moment in my life, because it wasn't only about Mary Magdalene, it was about linking me to essential oils. So just to give you a little background, this is the top of St. Baum where I hiked to when I had this very powerful experience. And you can see for miles and miles around there, it's a very inspiring spot. And as I mentioned, in modern times, people have been aware of the fact that Mary Magdalene has been more of a wisdom keeper, healer, and mystic. But this isn't the way she was portrayed for a long time in the Catholic Church. And this misinformation really started in the 600s with Pope Gregory. He was really, I don't know what was his reason for this, but he made Mary Magdalene out to be a sinner and prostitute. And there's really no biblical evidence for this that backs that up according to biblical scholars. So what interested me right from the start was that Mary Magdalene had played a very important role in the Bible, where she, when Jesus was crucified, she anointed Jesus with an entire jar of spikenard oil to prepare him for what was to come with the crucifixion. And this is really comparable to probably pouring like 95 5-milliliter bottles of spikenard oil over Jesus' body. So this really caught my attention. And I began to realize that essential oils are really a unique gift on this planet because they're really divine feminine energy in a bottle. They're really the energy of Mother Earth and nature and the divine feminine in a bottle. And so this is what Mary Magdalene came to represent for me. And if you read in ancient history, there's very strong traditions of the feminine that got lost over time. So to me, one of the most profound things that Gary Young did for us in modern times was to bring back a way to connect with Mother Earth, a way to connect with the divine feminine energy that had been lost for thousands of years. So until 1998, I didn't know that Mary Magdalene had spent the last part of her life after the crucifixion in southern France. But this is really common knowledge in Europe. And this cave you can see here is next to a monastery that was built by monks to maintain this sacred spot in the Christian traditions. And the cave is where Mary Magdalene lived the last 30 years of her life. Now it's a church. And the legend says that Mary Magdalene was raised every day by angels to the top of this mountain from her cave to pray. She was a mystic who spent her last 30 years of her life, as I mentioned, in this space. So after the lavender harvest in 2018, I spent 2 weeks at St. Baum. And every day I would hike up through the forest to the top of the mountain. And the tradition is that pilgrims would do this in prayer and meditation as they hiked up the mountain. So I did that. And at the top of the mountain, I would pray and meditate and just feel and immerse myself in this energy of Mary Magdalene that was so precious to me. And I felt it was important for me to be in this energy when I wrote the mental and emotional explanations for all the oils in Young Living. So after I would spend time up there, I would hike back down the mountain, and then I would write explanations the rest of the day. So originally I used these descriptions that I wrote at St. Baum to make an app with Coryndelis known as the Soul Mastery app, or Connect Your Soul Essence with Essential Oils. And both Cindy Davidson and Nicola Parrington also contributed to some of their images of what various oils were for and used for. So I want to, give them credit for their part in all of this. And what I found is that this app, although it was profound, it was difficult for people to use because it's so detailed in how to use the oils, what to do with them, and all of that. And if you don't know muscle testing, it's a challenge to use this. So I decided last March of 2022, that I would create a simpler way to use the same information. So my first step was to create a website called abundancetechnique.com. And this was just a sampling of what was to come with the Essential Oil Card Deck. And then by October of this year, 2022, I was able to complete the Spanish version of the card deck. So that's now available, which you guys are using now. And by December or January of this coming up, I should have the English version of it done as well, because people are asking for that. So that's how this all happened. I hope you have as much fun using the card deck as I have had in creating it and sharing it with people. And I hope you use it to help other people in your life. It's a powerful tool to enhance your use of essential oils. So thank you for sharing your experience today with me. And I'm glad you got to learn how I created this technique. And good luck in using your deck. Take care. Bye-bye.